Hello and welcome to another Reaconteur video, and in today's video I'll be going over everything that I hate in Deepwoken right now. Make sure to subscribe since only about 20% of the people watching right now are actually subscribed, and now let's get straight into it. Alright, so as many of you may know, I recently started playing Deepwoken again. With the Ignition Union Origin and the new dungeon, the Ceramade Caves? What's it called? I forgot. Anyway, those are the main things that brought me back to Deepwoken. And while I'm enjoying the game, playing it more has also given me a lot of things to hate. So why not talk about them in hopes the devs will improve the game just a bit more and make it a bit more bearable for everyone playing it, including me now. So first of all, I wanted to talk about the irrelevancy of owls. Owls are like the only Deepwoken mob I can't properly fight, and it's not really because they're hard, it's just because in-game you never need to actually fight them. Like, they're the only enemy in-game that you can just straight up, like, log from after they've seen you. They're the only Deepwoken mob I can't fight because of this, right? Like, you only need to fight them for Vision Shaper and I guess Dark Feathers, but I don't use Vision Shaper. And because of this, I've never really fought an owl without stat checking it because it was just in my way on my Power 20 build. And this is kind of a problem. The game never makes you fight owls. The only enemy in the game other than owls you'll never need to fight is the Squibbo or Nautilodon, whichever you prefer to call it. But the reason why I'm not complaining about him is because he's a more necessary fight. Most people aren't willing to just give you an odd tentacle in the way they'll just drop you Dark Feathers because they don't need them. Because odd tentacles are much more valuable than Dark Feathers. So while the Squibbo is never needed to fight, it's good knowledge to have because now you have the ability to get odd tentacles on your own instead of having to trade for them and giving up gems or even enchants for them. Versus owls, where you not only never need to fight them, but their only good drop is so common from PvE farmers that you can just get it for free from most people anyway. Which is why I think owls need a bit of a rework and some spawn rate increases and some new spawning areas. They currently only spawn in the depths and have like 1 or 2 spawn points in Upper Arisia, but they're pretty rare in the overworld. If they had more overworld spawns or even appeared in the Trial of One, it would make it so you actually have a reason or a necessity to actually fight them without risking wiping your build, which the reason why people don't fight them is because most of the time you're risking wiping your build. So you either stat check them, which doesn't take skill so you don't learn how to fight the enemy, or you're like Power 10, you see an owl, you log during the dialogue. Like, the owl dialogue thing is dumb. It was cool and menacing when the game first came out and this big black man owl thing walks up to you and tells you to pick up that soap, but then the people realize you can either log during the dialogue or 2, just choose the right dialogue option and walk away while facing them. It's really dumb. They're simply too easy to avoid. In fact, in the video where I wiped the owl, it's my own fault for trying to fight an enchanted owl when I wasn't a high enough level. When I just didn't have to. I did it for fun because I didn't care about wiping the build, but the owls shouldn't just be for fun, as with any enemy in the game, which is why I think that the owls are the worst designed enemy in Deepwoken without contest, unless we want to include things like carbuncles or the exploding mud skippers, but I won't talk about those because they're just kind of lame. They're not bad, they're just boring. But yeah, owls need some like spawn rate increases, they need some different like dialogue or to just attack you or something. Like, it's stupid that you can just kind of log during their dialogue and then they're not a threat, so people just end up not learning how to fight them, which is what happened to me. And even then, I never even really ran for owls. I just never really saw them because of how rare they are. Even in the depths, they're still rarer than most of the other enemies, so it's still hard to find them and fight them. And by the time I find them, oh, I'm already Power 20, so I just stat check them, and I never get the chance to learn how to actually fight them. So, Deepwoken devs, make owls more common, make them more in the overworld, or just buff their spawn rates in like Upper Arisia, or give them like a breeding ground or something. Maybe you could make like a new area in Upper Arisia that's like the owl's den or nest or something, and it's like above the golem area, and it's all like wooded and trees and stuff, and it'd be really cool, and then owls spawn in there. That would be awesome! And then there would also be like a new PvE farming area, and it would just be owls. That would be awesome. I would actually really like to see that, so I hope you guys could implement something like that near Upper Arisia, or above Upper Arisia. It'd be cool. Next up, I want to talk about Deepwoken's needless RNG. It's not really RNG anymore. There's basically no reason for the card system anymore other than to be different from a skill tree. Deepwoken RNG used to matter, but with updates like Shrine of Order, the removal of luck, and card aces with burns and freezes, there's no actual RNG in the progression anymore. And I'm not saying that luck is a good system, it was fundamentally flawed. But if they were to re-implement luck with a higher cap, closer to maybe 60 or 70%, and then provide more PvE ways to gain luck, or maybe you gain a little bit of luck on level, then it wouldn't be that bad. but Deepwoken's progression has completely changed into a glorified skill tree. Because if you want whatever talents based on your stats like that you're going for, you're pretty much guaranteed to get them if you know their requirements, and this is just kinda lame. The entire point of Deepwoken's initial progression was that you couldn't get every talent in the game possible and make a complete overpowered build. You would have to sacrifice and prioritize certain things. And so you still technically can't get every talent in the game, but you can and will get any talents that you need for your specific build without fail if you just plan a little bit properly. And I guess sometimes use the Shrine of Order if you're really going to go far for it. Which is kind of lame because now there's no variability between the talents of any given PvP or PvE build, because everyone doing PvE generally just runs Brick Wall and all of its possible extensions, and everyone doing PvP just runs Charisma for Chaotic Charm, with all possible agility and extensions and other legendary rare talents, so they don't even need to bother actually experimenting with build variability. Right now, every top PvP build is the same. Right now, every top PvE build is the same. It's just kinda boring. Anyway, I also still hate the Chime of Conflict, I always talk about this, but every fight in it is miserably boring due to the lack of map differences and the boring, bland arena. Like, it's just flat land pretty much. You could just make me a circle and, I don't know, make it look like a void in space or something and probably be cooler than what we actually have for arenas. Like, looking back at old Deepwoken before Chime came out, fighting someone and then having like a random Sharko spawn on you guys in the depths was really funny. And that really doesn't happen anymore. It wasn't fun, like, when it happened, but looking back at it, it was really funny. And the worst part is I can't find good players outside of the Chime of Conflict. Since everyone good at the game is some sweaty Godseeker and Chime 24/7, I literally have to play Chime to fight any half-decent players, because the only people in the overworld are PvE players and freshies or first-time power 20s who don't know what a feint is. Chime of Conflict is like a funnel and a filter that sucks out all the fun of fighting, but also filters for only the people I want to fight. And the removal of skulls only made this worse, because now people are in Chime entirely, and they only leave to bank enchants, which requires like 30-second overworld playtime. And I know, this argument is made a lot about Chime, but it really shouldn't exist. The devs said that they wouldn't add two things to Deepwoken that existed in Rogue Lineage: Snap Gelidus and private PvP servers. And literally both of those have made it into Deepwoken at this point with Ice Skate and Frozone and Chime of Conflict, especially without the skulls now, because people are just going to be in Chime for like 30 hours a day in like a week, and then they're just gonna stay in there. They don't leave it, and it's boring. And also, just a little bit off topic, but we just got a new legendary flame weapon, which is absolutely insane, but I think it's really funny given the whole stereotype recently of the devs adding a new flame legendary every update, and then they just happen to add one. You know, they could have done like anything. Pretty sure it's a gun. They could have done like a gale gun. It could have been like wind shots. That would have been cool. They could have done like a shadow gun. It could have been like big black balls at your face. That would have been cool. But they just had to add like the 19th flame legendary. It's just getting a bit repetitive. Anyway, about the Sharkos. Why are there so many Sharkos, but also a bigger point? You got normal Sharkos, Black Alpha Sharkos, Robot Gundam Mecha Sharkos, Red Sharkos, which are almost identical to the normal ones, but red, and Enchanted Sharkos. Where's the Sharko boss? Like, you guys are for real telling me you're gonna add all these Sharkos and there's no, like, giant Primadon-sized King Sharko boss fight where you have to, like, run up his arms or, like, climb the coral on his back like a parkour thing and then make it to his head and stab him in the eyes or something? Like, you can't tell me that wouldn't be peak Deepwoken. There's so many Sharkos in this game, but not a single Sharko boss. And speaking of bosses, can we rework or replace Kaido already? Like, he's already kinda a One Piece reference. I know he technically isn't. He's a reference to the water serpent things and, like, mythology. But can you guys just make him a One Piece reference and replace him with a humanoid Kaido like from One Piece? Like, look, I don't like One Piece, but I recognize that if we just turned Kaido into the humanoid Kaido from One Piece, it could be a much better boss. Because, oh my god, Kaido is a miserable fight. Dread Serpent. It gives me more dread than that serpent feels when I have to fight him. Sitting behind him and spiting M1 for 5 minutes while occasionally eating some fruit from your inventory is not fun. It's not fun for anyone. It's dreadful, even. Oh, I'm so funny. Which is why I think it's insane that he hasn't been changed yet. The devs can go ahead and make Layer 2 and a whole new dungeon for the Ignition Union origin, but they can't add Void Sea content or fix the only Void Sea boss we have. Like, I know you guys are working on Conquest, supposedly, but look, Kaido is the only thing in Void Sea worth doing, and it's only for Ardor. If it weren't for Ardor, he would have been forgotten already. Fuck Kaido. Nobody wants to fight this thing. Nobody's ever wanted to fight this thing. It was fun, like, the first time when you had, like, 20 people on an ironclad and you all get banned because he flings you. But now it just sucks. You can't even clip farm with him anymore because he can't fling your boat and ban you anymore. It's not even funny to fight him anymore because there's nothing funny about the fight. It just sucks. I hate Kaido. Rework Kaido. You guys have a 9-person dev team. There's like 3 people working on Conquest. Get one of those other 6 on Kaido. Anyway, finally, can we just get more drip? Like, I recently dropped the drip guide, but after doing so many drip competitions, it all kind of blends together if it's not a cosplay. And there's not enough coats, there's not enough color, and oh my god, can we change how dye packets work? I know they're called dye packets, but the fact that they literally dye and tint equipment instead of outright changing the color is putrid! Because some colors you think would look cool on certain pieces just for your coat to not turn like brass or gold, and instead just looks like dehydrated piss. Like, and I pray the devs add more customizability to gear like that. Like, just give me a paintbrush and let me draw basic patterns on my gear like stripes or polka dots or something if I want to. I don't think Deepwoken players should be able to free draw on their gear for obvious reasons, but give us more customization options. Let us actually recolor things instead of shittily tinting them, because if I see another yellow colored Prophet's Cloak, I'm going to crash out on stream and turn a family in a Honda CR-V into road paste in my raised Ford F-150 with chains on the wheels in snowy Vermont with 950 horsepower. Look, just give us more control over the colors. Let us color things individually. Like, even the Arc Order suit is a good example of this. People in my last video were telling me, oh, but you can dye the Arc Order suit. Yeah, well, I don't care if you can dye the Arc Order suit, because it looks like shit. It doesn't matter what color you make the Arc Order suit, it looks like shit. So, just give us more customizability. Let us put patterns on it. Let us put different colors on it. Let us, like, choose zones and color certain parts differently. It would be cool. Like, come on. Please, Archmage, just give us more drip and customization ability and my life is yours. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video on stuff I want to see in or out of Deepwoken. Out of Deepwoken being Kaido. In the Owl's Nest above Upper Arisia. Follow me on Instagram at Reaconteur. Yep, I got an Instagram. I don't post on there, but follow me. I'll start posting on there. Maybe I'll do my face reveal on there. Who knows? Shoutouts to Drizzy, Drake Fan, Goobcun, Cyberboy21. I love you all. Have an amazing day, and goodbye.